Hello. I thought wanted to share this today. It's something a lot of things God's been teaching and showing me, but I feel like this is maybe time to finally share this here. Um, it's on the death of self-righteousness. And what God showed me is that in the book of, at the beginning with Adam and Eve, they were in the garden and they walked with God and they walked with each other. And when they fell, what they did is they hid from God and they hid from each other. The impact of sin was right then. What happened is we stopped walking in love. We weren't loving God with all our heart, soul, and strength. We were hiding from Him. And we were not loving everyone as ourselves because we had shame and we were hiding from each other. And so people nowadays, they'll try to say, well, this person's doing this act and this person's doing this other sin. And they're walking around in judgment. And walking around in judgment to our brothers and sisters is not the way Jesus taught us to be. God's mercies are new every day. There's the parable in the Bible where the man was forgiven his debts by the master, but then he ran out to go tell other people that owed him stuff, hey, you got to demanded they meet their needs and they meet the letter of the law. And he was actually called a wicked person. And that's, Jesus is telling us that to do that is not the way. It's actually having the plank in our own eye. Walking in judgment is having the plank in our own eye while we're trying to get a speck out of our brothers. And so the death of self-righteousness is that when we realize it's not by measuring these other sins, it's a lack of love that is the problem. And Jesus makes us righteous. Only Jesus makes us righteous and holy. We don't start like, wow, now that you've quit doing X, Y, and Z, you're a righteous person. God doesn't measure by what you don't do. God measures by what you do. And we need to abide. And he said, unless we abide in him, we can't even have fruit. So, thinking it's like, you're a mature leader in Christ and you spend, 5-10 minutes in a devotional and a 5-minute prayer. Even if you do it every day, it's good. But don't kid yourself that you're a mature leader in Christ, because you're nowhere near it. Jesus said, could you not tarry an hour? We need to be following that path every day, seeking him with all our heart, soul, and strength. And as we do that, we begin to see, he'll teach us and he shows us the truth in his word. And that as we begin to just let love be the leading example, we truly begin to walk in maturity. It's not really about how far down into the ocean we sink in order to, that we drowned. It doesn't matter if we're 6 inches below the water or we're 25 feet below the water. It's the same result. And so that's what sin's done. And so it's in learning to return to the 2 commandments Jesus gave us, to love our God with all our heart, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves, that we begin to truly walk in a righteous way, but it's zero self-righteousness. People want to measure the righteousness by how far someone's walked into the dark. But the fact that we got separated from God and separated from each other is we're already in the dark. So we are not measuring, well, that person went deeper in the dark. We got to go into the light, and that's love. So I believe that's something God's bringing to his church. He is cleaning up. And the Pharisees, they're the ones that say, look at all these things I don't do. I'm, the Pharisee at the altar who says, I'm glad I'm not like the tax collector who was, oh, woe is me, I'm a wretched man. And the Pharisee was like, God, I'm glad I'm not like this man and I don't do any of the stuff he does. And Jesus was like, no, one was justified and the Pharisee was not. So I pray that that can sink into our hearts and our minds and we can truly begin to walk towards maturity in Christ. That's it. Have a good day.